What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into one of the wildest, most popcorn-worthy moments on national TV, when Ben Shapiro absolutely destroyed Ilhan Omar over her controversial comments about 9/11 and terrorism. I mean, this wasn't just a debate. It was like watching a verbal boxing match where one side forgot their gloves. Before we jump into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next round of political fireworks we've got coming.
Congressman Ilhan Omar and her allies now using a new tactic against Donald Trump and the GOP. So after the president dinged the freshman rep in a tweet over her insensitive comments about 9/11, the freshman rep said that the mere criticism of her was akin to the incitement of violence. The media echo chamber, of course, was quick to highlight her concerns.
Nancy Pelosi is asking the U.S. Capitol Police to conduct a security assessment for Congresswoman Omar. The speaker is one of many Democrats now accusing the president of trying to incite violence against the first-term lawmaker.
Joining me now is Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire's editor-in-chief and author of the brand-new book, The Right Side of History, which is fantastic. Ben, now, this isn't about free speech. This is about downplaying one of the darkest days in our nation's history. Your take?
That's, of course, true, and she has a long history of not taking terrorism particularly seriously. In 2013, she did an interview in Minnesota in which she joked about people taking al-Qaeda and Hezbollah more seriously than they took America and England. And then in 2016, she wrote a letter in which she tried to have a judge be more lenient with people who tried to join ISIS, saying that, of course, these were people who only became violent because of American marginalization. And then in 2017, she wrote a column for Time magazine in which she suggested that America was rooted and founded on slavery and genocide. And in order for us not to look that in the face, instead, we focused on international terror. This is not someone who takes terrorism particularly seriously, so I am bewildered as to why quoting her would constitute some form of violation of her personage. It would be a violation of free speech or something nonsensical like that.
Ben, just so people know what we're talking about here, I want to play that soundbite that you're referencing where she talks about the way people say al-Qaeda. Let's watch.
When I was in college, I took a terrorism class. Every time the professor said Al-Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and
yeah, he's in command here.
Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah. You don't say America with an intensity. You don't say England with an intensity. You don't say the army with an intensity.
Well, and Ben, Pete Buttigieg, we talked about him earlier. He's the new star of the Democrat Party. He's edged out Beto O'Rourke, and now he's taken that spot in the spotlight. He talked today about the consequences of otherizing people like her. I thought you'd love this. Let's watch.
One of the worst things that's happening right now is otherizing people. And if we're wondering whether this has real-world consequences, look no further than what happened not long ago in New Zealand. And yes, by the way, the president demonizing Representative Omar is part of this. It's dangerous, and it's got to stop.
Otherizing, Ben.
Well, very odd, since Representative Omar has 3 times in the last 3 months been chided for openly anti-Semitic statements, and then the Democratic Party has defended her. I'm amused to watch as the Democratic Party suggests that criticism and quoting of Ilhan Omar amounts to violent incitement, where Representative Omar can say whatever Jew-hating thing she wants on a daily basis, and that is not incitement. Now, I agree, it's not incitement in either case, but to pretend that it is incitement when it's stuff you don't like, and it's not incitement when it's stuff that you do, seems pretty irresponsible at the mildest.
Ben, thank you so much. Great to have you on.
All right. Here's what kicked it all off. Ilhan Omar said that Republicans criticizing her was basically inciting violence. Yep, apparently quoting her own words now counts as an attack. And of course the media rushed to her defense, like it was the Super Bowl of outrage. Nancy Pelosi even asked the Capitol Police to beef up Omar's security. I guess Twitter debates are the new national emergencies. Then, boom. Enter Ben Shapiro, calm, confident, and ready to fact-check her entire political career into oblivion. Shapiro didn't just show up, he came loaded. The man brought receipts like he was checking out of Costco. He reminded everyone that back in 2013, Omar joked about how people say, Al-Qaeda with more intensity than America. Like, really? Maybe that's because one of them, blew up buildings. Then Ben pulled out her 2016 letter asking for leniency for ISIS recruits, saying they were victims of American marginalization. Yeah, because when you join a terror group, it's never your fault, right? And then came her 2017 article claiming America was built on slavery and genocide, and we only focus on terrorism to distract from our history. Shapiro basically said, "Lady, this isn't a sociology class, it's a reality check." Then the show played that clip. You know the one. Omar giggling about her professor saying Al-Qaeda with intensity. Ben's face said it all. Are we watching a stand-up routine or a terrorism lecture? He pounced on it immediately, saying that kind of attitude shows she doesn't take terrorism seriously. And honestly, watching that clip felt like seeing someone laugh during a funeral, painfully awkward. It was like she handed Shapiro a verbal grenade, and he just calmly pulled the pin. But Shapiro wasn't done. He went straight after the Democratic double standard. Pete Buttigieg jumped in, saying Trump was otherizing Omar, and that it's dangerous. And Ben was like, hold on a second, Omar makes anti-Semitic comments every other week, and that's not dangerous, but quoting her is. It was like watching someone play Uno, and Ben just dropped the draw 25 card on the entire party. The hypocrisy was so thick you could spread it on toast. By the end, Shapiro didn't even need to raise his voice. He just laid out the facts, and the facts hit harder than a Twitter ratio. He said quoting Omar's words isn't hate, it's accountability. And let's be honest, after this, Omar's PR team probably needed a vacation. He showed that you can't just hide behind identity politics when your own record is doing the talking. So yeah, that wasn't a debate, that was a masterclass in dismantling political nonsense. What do you think, was Ben right to call her out? Or do you think the left had a point about so-called incitement? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And don't forget, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more political truth bombs and a few laughs along the way. Thanks for watching, and remember, in a world full of double standards, bring receipts, not excuses. See you in the next one.